So, hello po. And that is chapter 2 and please bear with me po sa mga noises na mangingil kasi nag-record ang morning. So, before we start, pag-pray tayo po. So, Father God, thank you, Panginoon, for this time. Intudmunan ka namin that we will study, Panginoon, your words as chapter 2, Panginoon, of Esther. And Lord God, ikaw po, Panginoon, ang magbigay sa akin ng wisdom to share your words, Panginoon. And Father God, cleanse us, Panginoon, to our sins, sa mga lapses po namin, Panginoon, sa mga nagawa po namin kasama, Lord God. And naway, nagito'y nga na-share ko, Panginoon God, pagbali, Lord God, and pagbulay-bulay mi, pag-reflectan mi, Lord God. And Lord God, thank you for all the blessings, Panginoon, for all na binibigay mo po sa amin, your mercy, your love, your compassion, Panginoon. And as we study this chapter, as this book, Panginoon, ay ma-share din po namin sa iba na nangangailangan. Lord God, thank you for this time again, Panginoon, and we lift your name on the highest. So, I pray in this mighty name. Amen. So, recap lang po from chapter 1. Kat in Esther 1, nairogi ay ito'y by introducing King Ahasuerus, or also known as King Xerxes. Isunati namumuno over into Persian Empire. At dati, naganap na banquet for his officials and servants in the third year of his reign, which in display na his wealth and his power. After di nga napakahabang celebration da, adda man din iti inorganize king nga feast or another nga banquet nga which naglast iso na for 7 days. Kat dayto nga celebration open to all iso na for other people in the citadel of Susa, which is the capital city of the Ijay Empire, iti Persian. So, di focus na tayo nga banquet kat panggap jay beauty and the riches of the royal palace. During the gat na celebration, the king commanded Queen Vashti na agpakita before King ni King and his guest, wearing jay crown na tapno ipakita na jay beauty naman ni Queen Vashti. However, ni Queen Vashti, in-refuse na agpakita, which is King's command. Di nga panag-disobey na kat syempre nagumot ni King Ahasuerus as he saw it as a challenge to his authority and a potential threat to his rule. Kat in-advise na dagitoy advisor na King Ahasuerus na i-remove dan ni Queen Vashti from her position and find a new queen who would be more submissive. So, that is chapter 1, which will conclude nga ni King Ahasuerus or ni King Xerxes issuing a decree nga ni Queen Vashti would be deposed and her royal position given to someone more worthy, mas worthy nga babae for King Xerxes. So, dahito nga the decree was to be proclaimed throughout Jai kingdom da, and every man was to be the master of his household. It is about power, authority, obedience, and the consequences of disobedience. So, dahito kat is likely Jai preaching ni Pastor Iggy last Sunday. So, as we start in chapter 2, the book of Esther. So, in verse 1, after these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. So, ni King Ahasuerus, he reflects on Vashti's action and the consequences she faced. Verse 2, then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. Dito nga rudan nga dagiti advisors ni King kat nagsuggest that a search be conducted to find attractive young virgins to bring to the king's palace. Nagbirok dan ti babae nga magsukat kanya na kani Vashti. And verse 3, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the woman, and to the custody of Haggai, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the woman, and let their things for purification be given them. So the king decides to appoint officers throughout his kingdom to gather all the beautiful young virgins and bring them to the citadel of Shushan. They are placed under the care of Haggai, the king's eunuch in charge of the woman. The young women are also provided with beauty preparation. Kat haan lang agkol-collect the king's jewelries, but they also collect din ti adu nga woman. Sorry po for the loud noise of the rain. So di jay and dagiting babae kat ang purpose nila ay ang pagsilbihan ng Panginoon or to await his call for sexual pleasure. So amo tay matgarod na iti king and iti queen soon kini tagiyay soon to be queen or the Esther ay rarely lang sila makikita. Kasi lahat like dagiting babae kat boring agururoy da lang for the king. And verse 4, and let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. So, the purpose ti panaggather dagiti young woman is to find a new queen to replace Vashti. Amo tayo matgar diba nga in remove na ni king Xerxes ni Vashti. So, nagrugi diyay panag-search dan for a new queen. Verse 5, now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. Dito'y nga na-introduce ni Mordecai, a Jewish man living in the citadel of Shushan. It provides his lineage and tribal affiliation. Ni Mordecai kat may nga Jew, and dagito'y Jew kat imaduda since idi nag-exile da over 100 year earlier. Naikandan iti freedom. Naibaga nga ni Mordecai kat naisama idi exile iti Jerusalem kat na-destroy. So ni Mordecai kat usually siguro kat more than 100 years old soon. And in verse 6, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. So ni Mordecai, the ancestor ng ni Kish, was among the captives, the inalada from Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, during the exile of Judah. Verse 7, and he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor father, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So ni Esther kat ulila isunan awan iti mother and father nan. So Mordecai isunan ti ng palaktal ni Esther as his cousin na ni Mordecai ni Esther. So since she had lost both her parents, ni Esther kat na-describe as lovely and beautiful, and Mordecai treated her as his own children. So, as his own children, as his home daughter ko na ko. Verse 8, so it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai. Esther was brought also unto the king's house to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the woman. May sa ni Esther garodon dagiti young woman who gathered in Shushan, and naidala ijay pampalas ni king under the care of Haggai. So, in follow ni Haggai jay utos or command ni king. Verse 9, and the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, which such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which permit to be given her out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids unto the best priest of the house of the woman. So, diay garod, mas diay beauty and charm ni Esther kat iso iti nakakot di attention ni king. So ni King Xerxes, she found favor with Esther, kaya she received additional beauty preparation na ikan ni Esther ti special treatment, diba? And an increase iti allowance na Esther kasi that time dagitoy nga young virgin kat ni King Xerxes iti mangtudod iti needs da. So Esther was also assigned 7 paid servant and was given the best accommodation in the house of the woman. Iso na iti pinakamayat iti treatment na nakakanya na itod kanya. So verse 10, Esther had not shewed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not shew it. So prior pa diay panagapan da Esther di palasyo, di palas ni King Xerxes, imbaga ni Mordecai ken Esther nga haan na i-disclose her Jewish identity or her relationship with him, and she followed his instruction by keeping her heritage as a secret. Syempre, garod, since saan pa'y nag-meet ni Esther King Ahasuerus, it is better for Esther nga haan pa'y muna i-reveal di identity na. So, and, gayam, so nga haan na pa imbaga di identity na as a Jew, kasi there will be a revelation, big revelation to no apay nga haan pa'y. Basta, yeah. While boldness, iti panagbaga tayo who we are in the identity tayo as God's people. And garod, di ba naman minsan, it is better na ang keep quiet tayo kay until we have won the right to be heard, which is true naman, di ba? If we are dealing nagitimas adati authority na than us, but we can always let them see the difference between God who makes So verse 11, and Mordecai walked every day before the court of the woman's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. So ni Mordecai, since iso na guardian na ni Esther, syempre kapanamat ikitaer magmag na isip na near the court of the woman's quarter to check on Esther's well-being, and tapos nakasagap the chismis and gathered information about the situation of Esther. Verse 12, now when every need's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of the woman. For so were the days of your purification accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the woman. So, di ba nagado nga preparations para completely nga makita dan ni King Ahasuerus. So, before being presented to the king, di may nga babae kat nag-undergo the kay 12-month of preparation period, including 6 months of treatment, gel oil of myrrh, and another 6 months with perfumes and beauty preparation. Diba kasadan to nung kandiyayon nagbanglon So verse 13, then thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the woman into the king's house. After garod diyay na makomplete the preparation period, each young woman had her opportunity to go to the king. They were allowed to take with them anything they desired from the women's quarters to the king's palace. So, bakit, di ba, ang gara ng preparation ng mga babaeng ito? Syempre, they are to face the king. Same thing with us, na we need first na ma-cleanse if we're facing our king, di ba? Kasakan niya tayo, we are praying na i-cleanse na tayo ni Apo bago tayo sumangukan niya na. And verse 14, in the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the woman, to the custody of Shaashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came into the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. So, as after nga nag-spend the night down with the king, dagiti nga woman would return in the second house of the woman in the morning, unless no ni king kat nakayatan na di may isang babae kat if haan mat awanan ki further encounters with the king. So if nakayatan na king if nakayatan na ka ni King Xerxes or ni King Ahasuerus, mas nabaybayag the interaction na kanila. Verse 15, now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Hegai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the woman, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So when Esther's turn came to meet the king, in-follow na ni Esther diyay advice and request na ni Hegai. So her actions and demeanor won favor and admiration from everyone who served her. Kat gina-experience ni Esther ijay kat all eyes kat adda kanya na. So your presence ni Esther kanjay beauty na pleased the king enough that she was crowned queen in place of Vashti. So di ba iti queen kasi kat has more influential position than a concubine, and the ikanso na the freedom and authority than others. Verse 16, so Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebet, in the 7th year of his reign. And napano ni Esther finally in the royal palace ni King in the 10th month of the 7th year of his reign. Verse 17, and the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. So, diyay garod, may nanalo na. Yes. Diyay exceptional qualities and charm ng Esther caused the king to love her more than all other women. So, as a result, nga, ni King Ahasuerus found great favor in his eyes, and diyay na crown that newly crowned and new queen dan which replaced Vashti. So, di ba, in place ni Apo ni Esther, ijay katroning even before the Jews. Kat nakaranas da iti destruction before. Kat when diyay nga gulo kat si mangput, may nga tao kat adda ijayan position nga ag-help for the Jews. Kaya tatta, if we are changing our positions, jobs, or anyaman, kat kasjay, we just have to understand nga ni Apo kat maybe placing us in a position where you will be able to help when the need arises. So verse 18 and 19, then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast, and he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. Verse 19, and when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Nag-order ni King Ahasuerus the second group of girls nga haandan nga i-continue the search kasi nga meron nang nanalo, but simply for his own selfish pleasure. For verse 20, Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her, for Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. Verse 21, in those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigtan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. Verse 22, and the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. Verse 23, last verse, and when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out, therefore they were both hung on a tree, and it was written in the book of Chronicles before the king. So diay, as it said dito, nga aday ti mangayat mangpatay kini King Xerxes, that ti mangkayat nga mang-assassinate kanyan, and nakita aja ni Mordecai, kat syempre ni Mordecai, iti loyalty na lang kat adaking ni King Ahasuerus. When the king knew this, in order na nga apandan ihang isuda ijay tree. So binaybayandan nga natay dyan. Kan daytoy nga form of punishment kat mangyari lang idi era da ditoy. So diay urayan dalatan nga matay di tao dyan. So diay na ron, daytoy full chapter of Esther, chapter 2, was placed even before she met King Ahasuerus. As it was said in Proverbs 69 nga, we will just wait for the time nga in place ni Lord for us. And ado pa ti nangyari ijay panagsama da ni Esther kan ni King Ahasuerus ket into no next chapter na jayan. So di garod to conclude ito'y chapter 2, we will just wait for the Lord's time nga diba nagmayat how the Lord placed us in a beautiful position antay makita, but into no na reach tayo diyan na time that magulat tayo latan, mapawaw tayo latan for what He have been doing for us. So di lang mat po, and si kayo po bahala if kayo mag-reflect or haan. And thank you for listening. Haan nyo po ang lipatan nga ang pray for kayo mag-reflect. Thank you po. God bless us all.